Welcome back to the show. It's the Friday afternoon show, a bit of a different take for the podcast, covering all topics about Manchester United on and off the pitch. This is a weekly series that we're going to be doing. I hope you like it. We'll be doing press conference reactions and basically talking about anything that happens in Manchester United in the media, off the pitch, between the players and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, discussing all relevant topics other than previews and match reactions. So do hit that thumbs up if you like this concept and if you're into this kind of stuff. And don't be shy to get in the comments. We will have a look and engage with you, I promise. So, Shawnee, how are you feeling this afternoon before we start the show?
Well, I'm feeling good. I'm excited to do our weekly report now, our new show. And I think, thanks to all the viewers and stuff. And I'm feeling pretty good.
That's good. United put us in a bad mood yesterday, but we have experience with coping with United's, how can I say, bad performances, to put it mildly.
Yeah, we're used to it now.
We're used to it. First of all, Pogba, Mino Raiola, the story that just never goes away. Mino Raiola came out and said some things, some very controversial things to some people, and those who have a Pogba agenda were against it. Those who don't have a Pogba agenda were for it. And those of us who are in the middle and look at it objectively, I think can say that Mino Raiola was right. Basically, if you don't know, I'm going to tell you now, Mino Raiola basically came out and said that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he basically said Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should mind his business and that if he was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he would be focused on other things. He also went on to say that Pogba is not a prisoner. He is a player who has his own mind and can make his own decisions. Basically saying that if he wants, or the implication behind that, at least the way I interpreted it, is that he's basically saying that Pogba should be allowed to make a decision to leave and the club should respect that. And I agree with that 1,000,000%. First thing I want to ask you is, how did you interpret everything that Mino Raiola said? Like, what is the message that you think Mino Raiola is trying to send to Oli? How did you interpret what he said?
Well, Mino obviously said, Paul Pogba is not Solskjaer's property, and Paul is basically Paul. You can't just own a human being. He feels like he can't keep Oli. Oli can't keep Pogba as a prisoner, which I agree. I agree with everything Raiola says, and that before we also said that before Oli comments and stuff, you must remember what he told Paul in the summer, and what that is, I don't know, but what I interpreted it to be is that Oli actually promised Paul that, we'll build a team around you, we'll build a team that's going to win stuff, and we'll progress, and we'll show that you can stay here being a world-class player. We'll make this a world-class team around you. That's what I interpreted is I think you can interpret it as many things. Maybe he was told that Paul, you can leave in the summer, and he didn't, so that could be another one. But I think mainly what he was talking about is the not building a team around Paul and challenging focus and things like that. That's what I interpreted for this.
I think that's a fair assessment. I think that's a very fair assessment. I think the part where he said if I was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I'd be focused on other things was a bit of a young blow, just hidden in there, just a young shot, because the reality is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not having the greatest season of his career. Actually, this is probably
having
his
our
best
worst season.
This is probably his best season as a manager compared to Cardiff and Mulder, but the worst season for Manchester United in history. So, the fact that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's best season as a manager is the worst season in the club's history says it all. But I think Mino Raiola was taking a bit of a shot at him. I really do. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job might be in a bit of threat, and Mino Raiola recognizes that. And I'm not saying that he was specifically saying that, but I think he was hinting at it because, why else would you tell someone to mind their business and focus on other things?
And I don't like Mino Raiola, but I still agree with him. All he does have problems other than Paul Pogba to worry about. Bigger problems.
Much bigger problems. Pogba, between now and May, what's your opinion on him? We all know that there's a very high chance he will leave in the summer, so we're not going to talk about that because I think we're all bored of talking about whether or not Pogba should go. Where do you stand between Paul Pogba between now and May? Do you deep down in your heart want to see him come back, play for United and potentially stay? Or are you just at a point where you're like, you know what, let's just get him in the team, get the best of him and then get him out of here and use the money to get someone else?
Well, anyone who knows me, I'm chairman of Paul Pogba FC. Paul Pogba is one of my favorite players, not just in United, but in the world. I love Paul Pogba. I'll stand by
Yeah.
everything he is for and does. And the way I stand is, I might be biased, and I know lots of fans won't feel the same way I do. But I want Paul Pogba back. If I had it my way, I wish Paul could play forever at United. But yeah, from now till the window, I think I want Paul Pogba just to focus on his recovery. Just make sure you're 100% fit again when you come back, and when you come play again in red shirt, just be professional, which I think he would do. Put on performances because he still wants to go to the Euros. He still wants to show that he's a world-class player and get that move. So I expect Paul Pogba to play in a red jersey again, and I expect him to be one of our best players still.
Look, deep down, somewhere in the pit of my infinite dreams is that Paul Pogba does stay and that we do build a team around him. But it hasn't happened for 3 years, and so for me personally, to answer my own question, I think I'm just really sick of it. I'm really sick of it. I'm not sick of Pogba. I'm just sick of the situation. I've got nothing against Paul Pogba. I do like Paul Pogba genuinely. And again, if there was like a magic pull, or if I could just snap my fingers and change Manchester United, one of the things that I would keep the same was keep Pogba there and change everyone around him. But that's not going to happen. And I think at the moment, the worst possible scenario is Pogba gets forced to stay, and then he gets injured again and takes time to come back. Or he does play, but then it's just toxic, in the fan base, in the United community, and as well as in the dressing room. So, and I know that there hasn't really been anything negative between the players and Paul Pogba. I think, as far as I'm concerned, everyone at Manchester United loves Paul Pogba. Marcus Rashford has only said positive things about Pogba in the media. You can tell Bruno's excited to play with Pogba for however many weeks or months it could be. I think Martial likes Pogba because they're both Frenchmen. So I don't think there's any problems with the players in the dressing room and Paul Pogba. I just think when it comes to the management of Manchester United, it's a bit difficult to deal with the player who's bigger than the club. You know what I mean? Every time Pogba's out, it's
and
so.
You've seen it. It was
so
like
toxic.
When Mourinho was there, it was like you either keep Paul or you keep Mourinho, and obviously we keep Paul. Paul was bigger than Mourinho, and that's why, someone had to come to me and be like, "Listen, Oli or Pogba," I'm like, "Get that clown out my club. Get Oli out. Keep Pogba."
Yeah, look, if actually, I want to talk to you about Oli, and I think if you're still Oli in, like, mate, if you're still Oli in because you believe he's a good coach, then there's something wrong with you. I think the only reason to be Oli in now is just predicated around what he. Well, because you like him, yes, and also predicated around what he can do in the next few months. Because the reality is we don't know. We can all sit here and try and predict, but this guy has a knack of getting lucky. So, what I do want to ask you now, with regards to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, between now and the end of May, where are you at with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Do you want him out, and do you want an interim manager, or even Manchester United hiring a manager other than Poch, because I doubt they'll pay his release clause or his contracting for Spurs before it's up, because he's still contracted with Spurs, if you don't know. He's obviously not the manager of Spurs, but there's a clause in that contract that means he cannot sign for another team within a year of being sacked. So we have to wait until the summer to sign Poch, because we're a club that doesn't like spending money. Would you rather keep Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, or would you rather get an interim manager or any other manager? So basically what I'm asking you is, if you could sack Ole tomorrow morning and get an interim in, would you do it?
100%. I think a few weeks ago I was thinking about it. I would say, no, just keep Ole till May, because I couldn't think of a manager for interim. But I was just thinking, I'd sack Ole now, bring in someone like Claudio Ranieri, ex-Leicester's manager. I can't remember. I don't know how to pronounce his surname. But Claudio Ranieri. Yeah. So I'd bring him in for the interim. Or anyone. I'll take anyone, even if Carrick has to do it himself.
I don't know if I agree with that. Because if we could sign someone... So I'll answer your first point there. If we could sign someone like Claudio Ranieri for 6 months, or 5 months, or 4 months, that would be amazing, right? But I don't think a manager is going to come to Manchester United for 4 months from the outside. I think interim managers generally always come from inside the club or within the United community. And that's the problem. I don't want Carrick or McKenna or Phelan taking over from Ole. because what's going to change? Is Carrick going to suddenly play different football? And also, what I would also ask you then, what happens if Carrick goes on a 3-month run or a 4-month run or even a 5-month
Yeah,
run?
I was gonna get to that. I would say, listen, if Oli had to get sacked tomorrow, you make it very clear to the interim, despite no matter how well you do or anything, the job is not going to be yours. We want Poch in the summer. You go and get Poch in the summer.
That makes sense, but you know what? I don't trust the Glazers, eh? I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I
lie
don't
to you.
trust him either to do. That's what I would do, but I
Because
don't trust him.
the thing is, the fans at the ground will be singing Carrick's at the wheel if he does go on a 3-month run, like they're saying Oli's at the wheel, because that's how fans are. They're flip flop in nature, in the sense that they are very quick to forget, and that's my problem with getting an interim manager. I think for me, keep Ole Gunnar Solskjaer till May, because the season, you can't possibly recover the season anyways. I don't think Carrick would come in and recover the season. I don't think McKenna would come in and recover the season. I don't think Phelan would come in and recover the season. I don't think any manager who is considered as an interim manager to just come in and do a job for a few months, who actually would take that kind of job, is going to be a quality manager. And so therefore, I just don't see them doing much better of a job. Because we ain't going to get Poch as an interim or anyone of that level. Like, no one of Poch's level or in Poch's bracket of skill would come to a club for 5 months. It's not going to happen. It's unheard of. So I think keep Oli in, but I do have a question. Where would you be with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer if he did make Champions League football and won the Europa League at the end of the season?
I'm still out. I don't believe it. I think if he keeps the system and he gets a top 4 and he does get the Europa, I don't want to back this manager. I'm done with Oli. Unless he
so you're
does
done no
something
matter
better.
what he does.
Yeah, I'm done no matter what he does. Unless what he does is,
Changes the
plays
football.
the philosophy, that I want. Yeah, and I think most
Yeah,
fans like this.
I don't think that's going to happen, sadly. I really don't. But yeah, some interesting hot takes on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer there.
To put it, my feelings about Oli to finish off is since Sir Alex Ferguson left and we have had Van Gaal, Mourinho, Moyes, I have never hated a manager as much as I hate Oli. I would take any of one of those old managers that we had before rather than Oli. That's how tired I am of Oli.
I would as well. I would as well. But that's an interesting point. I just think that, for me personally, I'm more concerned about the results than the football. The football matters a lot, and being bored while watching United is never a pleasant experience. But if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does make European football, does get money to spend in the summer, I'm actually willing to give him another chance. And not because I think he's going to miraculously change the football, but because I think that the results speak a lot more than the style of football you play. And I know that's a very controversial thing to say, but I would rather, for the long term and the long-term success of this club, that we put up with a manager who doesn't play football that we agree with, but can still grind out the results and build a team so that the next manager who comes in has something to work with and a foundation to build. The last thing I want is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer getting sacked, and then whoever comes in next says, I don't like this player, I don't like that player, I don't like this player, we need to get rid of him. And then we're sat here 12 months from now going, should we give him time because he doesn't have the players that he wants and he's complaining in the press? Or should this guy be sacked as well? Whoever that person is, Some people think Poch will come in and make Matic a better player, make Pereira a better player, make Lingard a better player. Some people think that Pochettino has a magic wand and he can just turn everyone into gold. But people are quick to forget that most of Pochettino's prodigies that he turned into successful players were never players that anybody noticed. Like, they were almost nobodies, you could say. And I genuinely mean that. Like, look at all the players that Pochettino turned into greatness or turned into good players. We didn't really know who they were and we weren't paying attention unless you were a person who was obsessed with the Premier League and you're one of those fans who watches every game. Most of the people didn't know who those players were before Poch touched them. The thing is, when he comes to United, he's not working with young prodigies. Like, Lingard is 28, Matic is past it, Mata is past it. There's so many players in this team that I would consider dead wood. Phil Jones, all those guys. He might make Brandon Williams a star. He might make Aaron Wan-Bissaka better. There's a case to be made there. He might make Dan James better going forward, and that would be a positive. But I feel like when people talk about Poch, they make it seem like it's set in stone, Like, he's 1,000,000% going to make these players better. And I don't know, because I've seen these players.
I think you'd make the players who we need to make better. But I think, like, I don't see Poch would, like, if Lingard doesn't give him a reason to play, you won't pick Lingard. Pereira doesn't give him a reason to play, you won't pick Pereira.
Yeah, but then that's the problem. That's part of the problem. The thing is, if you look at our serious lack of squad depth at the moment, besides Manchester United's starting 11, our team is crap. It really is. And I think they've proven that not just this season, in many other seasons, because these guys have bottled it under many different managers, some of them. And I think when Poch gets here, he's gonna do what most new managers do when they come to a club. He's gonna say, I don't like this player, I don't like that player, I don't like this player. And we're gonna be back at square one. He's gonna be asking for a budget to work with, to try get rid of these players and bring in players that he wants. And it's gonna be difficult, because unless Poch gets the control of full control of the transfer budget and the transfer negotiations, I don't see him getting the players that he wants, and I don't see him playing the football that he wants to play to his full capacity. And now, what I would ask you as a Manchester United fan, if you're listening to this, you can answer it in the comments, or you can just think about it. Would you rather have Pochettino not get the budget he wants, still play attractive but inconsistent football, especially when his starting 11 is injured, and make top four? Or would you rather have a manager who plays boring football and wins trophies for the short term? What would you rather have? It's a difficult question to answer, and I think most people would pick the better football, but I don't know. I don't know.
I can't emphasize how tired I am of the way things are. And Oli could go and win trophies. He could get players that he wants. He could play bad and still win a trophy, but I don't back him to do it. So
yeah, we'll see. I mean, the scenario was that if he does win the Europa League, that's the scenario I propose. So, we'll see. I think if he does win the Europa League, that is evidence. The Europa League is not the most difficult trophy to win by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a trophy. And I think people take it for granted how difficult it is to win trophies, because everybody forgets that the guy, Pochettino, the guy that everyone's living up his ass, that guy hasn't won a trophy. It just goes to show how difficult it is to win trophies at this level. It's a very difficult thing. Winning trophies is hard. It is hard at professional level. Very few managers are able to win any trophies in their entire career, especially in the Premier League, and then do it consistently. And I would urge you to not change your opinion, but just think about it. Do you really want what happened to Spurs? Do you really want to be making semi-finals and getting knocked out, finals and getting knocked out, or do you actually want to win things? And what's more important to you? Is being entertained for half a game and then being mad that you bottled it in the second half more important than lifting the trophy at the end? I don't know, because I don't see how people... I think people say they want important football and they enjoyable football, and they miss it. And I think for the first few months, it'll be great. But look at Chelsea fans. For the first few months, it was great. But look at how upset the Chelsea fan base is now. And they have everything United want. They have a manager who has a philosophy, and they're playing good football. But look at how inconsistent they are. And look at how mad Chelsea fans are at Lampard. Because why? They're not winning. And playing attractive football doesn't mean you're going to win stuff. And that's the problem. If you're not winning games, are you still going to enjoy the attractive football? That's the question I have for you. And that's the question I'll use to end off the show. Think about it. I don't know. And I'm guessing, Shoni, you still just want the attractive football.
I still want Poch. That's the manager I'm on the back. That's the manager I would give time. Oli, I'm done. I don't see how he turns it around.
Yeah, I'm not just talking about Oli now. I'm past Oli. I'm just saying, is that more important to you? Would you take...
For me to
Chelsea's
hold on
situation?
first, yes. And I do believe that if you do play attractive football and stuff, I think results will come. I think, Liverpool can do it. Pep can do it. Many teams have done it. It's been a long time since we've seen negative football win trophies.
I don't know, because if you look at some of the teams that have won big trophies, yes, they've played attractive football, but they've played very disciplined football, and they've been very good defensively. Teams like Chelsea and Tottenham don't win, or Chelsea at the moment and Tottenham under Poch don't win trophies, because the thing about extravagant, fluid, fast-paced attacking football is if you can't consistently outscore the opposition, you're going to be inconsistent and you're going to lose. And what I would say to that is, I don't mind flashy football if we're defending well and we're actually closing out games. And that's the difference between a Liverpool and a Spurs, or a Liverpool and a Chelsea. And Man City are suffering from that as well this season. Like, extravagant football requires really good players to be consistent. That's another thing people forget. If Pochettino's going to win trophies with the football he plays, he needs players. He needed players at Spurs on top of what he already had. He's going to need players when it comes to Manchester United. And are you seriously telling me that the Glazers are going to give Pochettino the players he needs to play his fluid champagne football successfully? I don't know. I don't know. There's a massive question mark on that. And again, football, extravagant football, open, fast attacking football is great. But look at how many times Fergie struggled until he actually got the players that he wanted. How many seasons Fergie actually went out and bought players, and then the very next season he goes on and wins a treble. He goes on and wins a trophy. It's not rocket science. You need good players to play good football well and win games. And I would urge you to have a hard think about whether or not you think Poch is going to get the budget he needs to play that football successfully. And if you're telling me that Poch is going to win trophies with this current Manchester United squad playing the way he wants to play, I think you're delusional, because he failed to do it at Spurs. What's different here? We've just got a bunch of bottlers on the bench. Like, I don't see Pereira turning into a worldie. But get down in the comments. Do leave a like on the video. Let us know what your opinions are on these hot takes. And if you do enjoy this style of video, the style of podcast, and this series going forward, please do let us know. Peace out.